Hi friends, and welcome back to my channel and this episode of TT Reacts. So in this video I'm going to be responding and reacting to handstands on Reddit. First up, please, how should I improve? Okay, you almost got it, best friend, you almost got it, but you're not quite there yet. So this man here, he's very strong, and you can see that just in the way that he kicks up in the handstand. But what you want to do while you're in the pike position at the bottom of the movement is really tuck your pelvis under, which it looks like he did in this one, but when he went up into the handstand you could tell that he didn't. But you really have to brace your body and brace your core for impact when you get to the top of the movement. So a lot of times you have to slightly arch your back or arch your lower spine so that you can get the maximum ab engagement. You cannot have an interior pelvic tilt when you're doing it. You really have to tighten your core a lot before you kick up into that movement. Now, this is the reason why I always encourage going into the handstand from a standing position, because you can just engage your core when you're standing up and then go down and do a fluid movement into a handstand. But if you're going to kick up into the movement, you need to really focus and practice engaging your core and tucking your pelvis under before you get to the top of that movement. Now, that will prevent this overarching that he has going on at the top of the movement. Another issue is momentum. A lot of people don't have the correct momentum when they're doing it, which is another reason why you shouldn't be kicking up from the ground. But this man here is very strong, and you can tell at the end of the video, he went into like a handstand push-up pike type of movement. So, I mean, he's on the right track. He just has to practice and do this exercise here and really just focus on engaging your core when you get to the top of the movement and engaging your core in general. 7-year practice, knocking the rust off after life went haywire. 2 weeks back in the gym, 6'4", 255 pounds, 53 years old, 90 days sober on Friday. Let's see what you got going on, best friend. Wow. Wow. I mean, look. You still got it. You still got it. I can't really tell if he's engaging his core in this movement. It looks like he could or he couldn't be, but honestly, I don't have too much advice for this person right here, except he really needs to straighten his arms. When you get to the top of the movement, lock your arms out and really try to lock your arms out. Yeah, his core isn't engaged. He's just balancing. Yeah, because you really do have to have straight arms to have good ab engagement. But yeah, straighten your arms, practice on the wall, and I think you should be good. This person here has very good balance as it is. This one is just a photo. Tips, thank you. So the tip would be to engage your core. I mean, good job at pointing your feet. I'm not someone who cares about feet pointing. I don't think it's important to your form. I think it looks aesthetic, but I'm someone who doesn't care about that. I care about engaging muscles. I care about bodybuilding, stuff like that. So anyway, pursuing forward, good job on the technique portion of it, but you really shouldn't have that type of bend in your knee unless you're engaging your core, which you would be able to tell because his knees would be in line with his core, and then his feet would kind of go back just a little bit into a slight arch looking thing, but you would be able to tell by looking at his positioning that his core is actually engaged. But here I don't really see any core engagement, though I do see a little bit of ab muscle. So I think he has muscle. He just has to practice engaging it when he's doing this movement here, which I think would be beneficial if he spun his body around and put his knees at a 90-degree angle against the wall and pop each foot out in this movement here and just practice getting that core engagement, because at the top of the movement you can really position your feet in different ways And in some positions, you'll feel it more in your back. Some positions you won't feel anything. And some you'll feel very good tightness in your abdominal muscles, which that's what you want, because it's going to help you hold that handstand a lot longer and create a more stable handstand. So I think that's what he should do, is just spin around and do that exercise. In the beginning, people told me I wouldn't achieve a high level unless I changed my technique to a very specific way. The gap now between me and them is becoming very small. Take advice, listen, learn, but remember, there's no one way of training this stuff. Okay, so I guess this is just like a bonus video. Wow. Which is very true. So when I do these videos, I'm just really emphasizing the most efficient way to do things. When you're putting so much time into learning a skill, I think most of the time it benefits you to learn which muscles are most important in that movement. Though I say you should face toward the wall, or you shouldn't climb up onto the wall. I also have videos of how to safely climb up onto the wall. And there are a bunch of different ways you could train for a handstand. I think the principle and the bulk of what people are saying when they're trying to give you advice is there's an efficient way to do it, and there's an inefficient and unsafe way to practice for a handstand. And most people lean toward the unsafe, inefficient practicing of a handstand. So that's the reason why I do these videos. And it's not to say that, you know, if you have an arch in your back or whatever the case is, you won't get to a high level of success. Of course you will. I mean, that's how my journey started when I was like 9 years old. But I think that the goal with giving people advice of how to do certain movements is really grounded in safety and efficiency. And I'm someone who loves muscle and muscle building and all that stuff. So I say engage your core, because it's going to benefit you. Most people want to lose belly fat or get abs or whatever the case is, and get nice shoulders, or, you know, whatever the case is, get a nice chest. But this person here, very advanced level that I'm trying to reach. And I've been practicing for my one arm handstand, not religiously, but this is goals right here. This is circus level work. Wow. One arm to two arm. That's crazy. Let's go ahead and give him an upvote. Back to the video. So this will be the last one. Any advice is welcome. Okay, this person's also has really good form. How do I ensure straight open shoulders right after kick up, and how to do more stably? So really all you have to focus on is just extending your arms as far as humanly possible. As far as humanly possible. It's really hard to get that. Even for me, it can be hard, especially if I'm doing a 3-hour training, to keep my arms straight all the time. And it's something that you have to consistently remind yourself to do. So I think the wall training actually helps even advanced level people to get that good arm, to get that good engagement in your shoulders and just straightening it out. And in general, strength training, which it looks like he does, will help you get the muscle that will make it a lot easier to keep your arms straight and hold that handstand a lot better. But from where I'm standing, you have a pretty stable handstand. You just need to do a little bit more practice. And honestly, your feet can go back just a little bit further, and you can engage your core a little bit more, if that makes sense. So it looks like you are stopping your feet right before where you could, to get the maximum engagement and get the most equilibrium. Though it looks pretty straight, it could be just a little bit straighter, and it could be a little bit more stable. Alrighty friends, well that is the last video. Thank you guys for tuning in to TT Reacts to Reddit handstands. If you would like your video featured and your handstand in a video, go ahead and send it to this email right here, and you'll see it in one of my upcoming videos. Until next time, ciao.